And that, at some point, I realized that that guidance and the truth that was emerging through that guidance, was not just for me personally. I realized at some point that I was actually some kind of a guinea pig. And I was taken somehow through this particular path to learn that path because I was to give it to others who might also resonate with it. Right? Not to supplant anything, not to displace anything, but as another way, another thing that may speak to certain people. That might be of help for them. And I realized at some point that much of the knowledge that I was getting, much of the understanding, experience, a lot of it wasn't just for me. And at some point I realized I had a debt to pay, basically. I was given all of this, and I had to pay back. And at that time, it's not I had to, it's more like out of gratitude to pay back. So that's why my service has always been to serve that guidance and the truth, the ultimate truth, that is the source of that guidance. And what that guidance has shown me many times is that that ultimate truth wants to manifest itself through all beings, so that that guidance, that truth, that ultimate truth, becomes aware of itself in the midst of our life. That it really, this truth, does not just want to be like the sky. It wants to have arms and legs and walks. It wants to have a tongue and taste apricots. You see, it wants to have a throat to talk to other people, but it wants to do it while still being that sky god, that vastness. And it's sort of, the way it happened, the way I understand it, is that I was somehow guided to see that, and even my original feeling of wanting to see the truth independent of teachings, independent of other sources, to see what is there, that was already the beginning of that guidance. It wasn't me, personally, my mind. My mind was too naive, too ignorant to really come up with something like that, you see. So as a result, now we have a teaching, we have a school, we have a particular practice that now we integrate with various practices like meditation and other things, because I have some understanding of them much more than I did before. And now, not only that, many of my students do them better than me. See? So that particular inquiry, really what it does, it is the usual inquiry that we all know about. However, it is that inquiry connected with true nature, connected with the absolute truth by manifesting its own qualities, its own perfections. So we are curious because it turned out curiosity is a manifestation of the playful joyousness of the ultimate reality. You see, and we love to find out the truth because this ultimate reality loves to reveal its reality, its truth, its treasure. You see, and we are patient and determined to find out the truth because this determination is nothing but the will of that truth to come through and become conscious of itself. So really, it's like this, when I said, this inquiry is matter taken it to its fullness, to its completeness, means just recognizing that the usual attitude of truth, not truth, or usual attitude of inquiry that we have, they come from very deep truth. They come from the dimension of true nature itself, through some kind of its inherent timeless qualities that manifest through our consciousness as certain leanings and tendencies and capacities and qualities that when we go along with, let them develop, inquiry becomes Spacecruiser Enquiry. In the sense, it takes off. It becomes accelerated. It opens up and takes us to other dimensions that we did not know about before. Okay, so let's see if there are any questions.
The word space cruiser implies leaving the planet to me.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit about that.
Good, interesting question. The way I understand it, which is something you read in the book, is that I said a space cruiser. I did not say it's an airplane, for instance. The reason because our experience, our usual experience, tends to revolve in a certain orbit. We have a habitual way of experiencing things, where our experience basically repeats the same elements in different permutations or combinations. So we stay in what I see as a gravity-bound orbit, right? So we never get to see things from a wider perspective. We never go to other dimensions of experience. That's the usual thing. So the space cruiser means, yes, we need to leave gravity, basically. We need to leave the inertia that we usually moving in. And we need to break out of this particle gravity, or if you go in a certain orbit, you just go around the same thing. You see it over and over again, maybe with slight variation. So to really see something completely different, to go to a different dimension, you have to break out of that orbit. And for that, you need a spaceship. So in that sense, the sci-fi language in the book is related to the question of inquiry. Okay.
Thank you for your teaching. Have you found, since you have learned this path, that it's become easier to teach, easier for other people to learn? And I have a couple of questions that follow from that. Does this change the way that we might relate with children? Does it change the way we might relate with our enemies?